Writing. I didn't realize I was falling until it was too late. One moment I was standing at the top of the stairs, and the next my body was crashing down step by step, with no way to stop it. But what haunted me wasn't the pain, not the bruises, not even the fear. It was the face I saw just before I fell. A face that wasn't shocked, wasn't worried. A face that knew exactly what had just happened. And what broke me even more, someone else saw it too. Someone small, someone innocent. Someone who was about to say something that would change everything. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Epic Stories Where Silence Speaks. My name is Zell, and I am 58 years old. There are two kinds of pain a man can carry in his life. One lives in the body, in the bones, in the scars, in the slow ache of age. The other lives somewhere deeper. A place you can't point to. A place that doesn't heal as easily. The day I fell down those stairs, I felt both. But the deeper wound didn't come from the fall. It came from realizing that in my own son's home, I had become unwanted. The life I once had. Before all this, my life was simple and full. I had a small house, a loving wife, and a routine that made sense. Mornings with tea, evenings with quiet conversations, and nights where sleep came easily because the heart was at peace. My wife used to say, "Zell, no matter how small a home is, it feels like a palace when there is respect inside it." After she passed away, that palace turned into an empty shell. Silence echoed in every corner. Even the walls felt cold. That's when my son, Daniel, stepped in. "Dad, you're not staying here alone," he insisted. "You're coming with me." I didn't want to be a burden. But grief makes you weak in ways you don't expect. So I went. A welcome that slowly faded. At first, everything seemed fine. A room was prepared for me, clean sheets, a small table, even a photo frame placed carefully beside the bed. I remember thinking, maybe this is a new beginning. But beginnings can be deceiving. Because what looks warm on the surface can hide something cold underneath. Sarah, my daughter-in-law, greeted me politely the first day. But politeness is not kindness. And over time, the difference became painfully clear. The invisible man. Disrespect doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it creeps in quietly and settles into your life before you even realize it. It was in the way she avoided eye contact. The way conversation stopped when I entered the room. The way my presence seemed to tighten the air. Then came the little things. My laundry would be left undone. My food portions became smaller. Some nights there would be no food at all, at least not for me. I told myself maybe she forgot. But deep down I knew. You don't forget someone who lives in your house. You ignore them. The only light, Adam. In the middle of all this darkness, there was one light. Adam. My grandson. 6 years old, full of life, full of love, untouched by the complications of adulthood. Every morning, he would run to my room without knocking. "Grandpa Zell, wake up," he'd shout, jumping onto my bed. And just like that, the heaviness inside me would lift. We had our own little world. We built toy houses. We told silly stories. Sometimes we would just sit quietly, and he'd hold my hand as if he understood more than he should. Children have a way of seeing what adults try to hide. And Adam saw everything. The day tension broke. That afternoon felt different. The house was too quiet. Not peaceful quiet. The kind of quiet that feels heavy. I came downstairs slowly, holding onto the railing, each step careful, measured. My body wasn't as strong as it used to be. But it wasn't my body I was worried about. It was the feeling in my chest. A strange unease. As I entered the kitchen, Sarah stood there, arms crossed. Watching me. Not like a person. Like a problem. You're always here, she said. No greeting, no softness. Just sharp words. I just came to make tea, I replied, trying to keep my voice calm. She stepped closer. This house isn't yours. Each word landed like a stone. I know, I said quietly, She moved past me. And then, it happened. The push. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. Just a shove. But it was enough. My balance broke instantly. My hand reached for something, anything, but found nothing. And then, the world tilted. Falling. The first step hit my back. The second struck my shoulder. By the third, I lost all sense of direction. There's something terrifying about falling when you know you can't stop it. Your body becomes a passenger. Pain explodes. Air leaves your lungs. And all you can do is endure. Until finally, stillness. A child's cry. Grandpa. That voice cut through everything. Adam. I heard his footsteps fast, panicked. Then his small hands on my arm. Grandpa, please say something. I wanted to. God knows I wanted to. But the pain held me hostage. Then everything changed. Because Adam stood up and looked straight at Sarah. The truth no one expected. His voice trembled but didn't break. I saw you. Silence. You pushed him. The room froze. For a moment, even time seemed to stop. Sarah's face lost its color. And in that moment, the truth stood naked in the room. Not spoken by an adult. Not defended by logic. But revealed by a child. The power of innocence. You always do this, Adam continued, tears streaming down his face. You're always mean to Grandpa. There was no anger in his voice. Only pain. Pure, honest pain. And that made it heavier than any accusation. Because children don't speak to win. They speak what they feel. When Daniel returned. When Daniel walked in and saw me lying there, everything changed. Fear. Confusion. Anger. All at once. But before anyone else could speak, Adam did. Mom pushed Grandpa, he said. No hesitation. No fear. Just truth. And sometimes, truth is louder than any shout. A choice that defined everything. Daniel turned to Sarah. Is that true? She didn't answer immediately. But silence has its own voice. And finally, yes. That one word broke something inside him. Not loudly. Not dramatically. But deeply. That's my father, he said. And for the first time, I saw my son not as a boy, but as a man making a decision. The aftermath. Healing took time. Physically, I recovered. Slowly. Painfully. But I recovered. Emotionally, it was harder. Trust, once broken, doesn't return easily. But something changed in that house. Daniel stood up for me. Not with anger, but with clarity. And Adam, he never left my side. The real strength. People often think strength comes from power, age, or authority. But I learned something different. Strength sometimes comes from the smallest person in the room. A 6-year-old boy who refused to stay silent. Who chose truth over fear. Who reminded everyone what right and wrong actually look like. Moral of the story. Respect is not optional, even within family. Silence in the face of injustice only gives it room to grow. And sometimes, the courage to speak the truth comes from the purest hearts. Because in the end, I wasn't saved by strength. I wasn't defended by age. I was protected by the honesty of a child who simply refused to look away.